Hello my beans, this is just a quick tutorial on how I made my DINOMASK since I got a bunch of requests to do that through comments and like polls and stuff. So I'm just going to show you guys pretty much like the basics on how I made her. I apologize for the horrible filming, I'm just doing this pretty quickly so that you guys can get like just a base tutorial on some of the things I did. This is just a tutorial, so if you wanted to use an inspiration from something from Rave, that you can, but it's not so that you can copy her. Like, I'm not doing a tutorial for people to copy, so please don't copy because this design took me like months to make. So yeah. Okay, so starting with Rave's base, what I did is I just painted it, really. I took black paint and went over the whole thing, even where there's designs. Then the parts where I wanted designs, like, you know, here and the, like, rings around her snout, I covered in white paint, and then I layered the colored paint over it. And I'll show you guys the paint I used, because I almost constantly get questions on all my videos on how she glows so brightly. And I'll show you guys how I did that. Okay, so when I painted Rave, I used a mix of different paints so that she would glow like the brightest she possibly could. The first paint I used for the green was a blacklight neon paint, which is a lot different than just like neon paint, or glow-in-the-dark paint, really. So glow-in-the-dark paint kind of charges in like sunlight or bright light, but it kind of wears off after a while. What this does is, instead of needing to charge with like UV light, it reacts to black light and glows like a lot brighter. So it's just a lot brighter. I also mixed that with green neon paint, just normal neon paint, so that way she would glow a lot brighter. You can tell she's sort of glowing right now, but this is just with a like mini black light, so if I get the big one out, she'll be like glowing really, really brightly. So yeah, I went over and painted her. She has a few different designs and stuff. She has the rings around her mouth, the dots along like her kind of brow, and then her interchanging green and pink like eyeliners. These speckly parts, the kind of like the splatter paint all over her, I did with this paint. So if this is in like normal light without a black light, you're actually not going to see these. So it's kind of like a hidden feature, I guess. You're only going to see these when these are black light lit. A mistake I made when painting is I forgot to seal her, so that's why you can kind of see the gray and stuff is where the paint's worn off. Kind of like along her jaw. So I recommend once you're done your paint job, seal it. You can use a bunch of different types of sealers. If you want like it to be matte, or if you want it to be like satin or like flat. So you can get a bunch of different types of sealers. Also with her teeth, I just painted them white. So yeah, that was just how I did the base, the painting at least. Okay, so for the horns, what I did is I used craft clay. I don't recommend using air dry clay, because if you use air dry clay and just mold it on perfectly, you can kind of see little gaps. But if you use air dry clay and mold it perfectly on, air dry clay is gonna crack. This clay, what you have to do is so I kind of put it on here, molded it the best way I could, and then I have to put it in the oven for like a certain amount of time, and let it cook so that now it's hard. Like, it's not gonna, break. It's not gonna like crack or anything, so this is like a lot more sturdy than just craft clay, and you can get this in a lot of different colors. These are also blacklight reactive, just because they're neon. So pretty much any neon paint is going to be blacklight reactive, but if you want it to glow a lot brighter, then you can use specifically blacklight paint. Okay, so now's for all of the fur and that stuff. I did this the wrong way, so it looks really, really crusty. You guys can't really see it on camera, but like the fur is kind of weird. And the way I did like the cowl on her was kind of stupid, honestly. I should have done it differently, but I was just, you know, off caffeine and motivation, so, you know, I did it in like a few hours. But we'll do the ears first. So pretty much what I did for the ears was I cut out paper first, like in the way I wanted the ears to look, and then I cut out foam. And because of how thick this fur is, I didn't really need to like indent it. It just needed to be like that shape. So I did that for both of the ears. And I then had to fur them before I put them on, just because of the way I put them on was kind of weird. So yeah, I took them. I didn't actually sew. These are actually undone seams. I'm trying to find the one part. These are just glued down. seams, you can kind of see this. They're not like sewed because I didn't know how to sew then when I made her, so I just glued it. Yeah. This fur also, simply because it is neon, you can see it glows. It's kind of hard to see with this camera, but yeah, this glows pretty brightly. So yeah, that was how I did the ears. Okay, so this next part is how I did the like balaclava on the inside. Once again, I just kind of did this like really quickly because I was motivated. I should have done it differently, but I didn't, so I'm just going to tell you guys how I did it, but I don't recommend doing it this way. So this black piece right here is a balaclava. You can get these off Amazon for like really, really cheap. So what I did is I took the opening of the balaclava and put it like around the eye part and glued it down, so it was like kind of like part of the mask after I had glued these straps to it. So when I put my head in it, these straps are kind of like the thing that secures it. The only thing is I kind of measured these wrong, so it's kind of uncomfortable to wear her, but it's fine. So yeah, that's how I did the balaclava.